Welcome to the Community Hour on Unity 101 South's leading Asian and ethnic radio station, broadcasting on 101.1 FM and online at unity101.org. I'm Geeta Uppal, Senior Access and Outreach Officer at Southampton Solent University, and in today's Community Hour with my guests, Kevin Rogers, Academic Registrar, and Sarah Bishop, Senior Associate Academic Registrar from Southampton Solent University, we'll be talking all things graduation. With this, I'd like to welcome both Kevin and Sarah.
Geeta, it's great to be here with you.
Thank you. And welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, which is very busy at the moment, I know, in terms of graduation is upon us next week, to come and talk to our listeners here at Unity 101. So I'm going to kick off the first question with you, Kevin. So can you tell us a bit about your role as the Academic Registrar at Solent and what does it entail?
Absolutely. So I consider the role of the Academic Registrar to be everything backstage. So I don't know if any of your listeners really enjoy their drama or their theatre, and you see the show on the stage. You see the actors and the actresses doing what they do, but it's the stuff behind the stage that keeps everything going, keeps everything hanging together. So as Academic Registrar, I sort of see my role almost as stage manager, so just off stage, out of the line of sight. And so within my role, I have lots of things relating to the student journey. So from the moment of admission through to their exams, to their assessments, to their records, to their results, to everything that exists within the student life cycle.
Right.
But then culminating in that wonderful festival, that ceremony of graduation, which my wonderful colleague Sarah runs brilliantly.
Thank you. So you're holding all the strings.
Only one or two.
One or two, okay. So Sarah, over to you if you talk a little bit about your role at the university and a bit about your background, where you're from.
So I'm the Senior Associate Academic Registrar, and within my team's remit we've got graduation, exams, certification, and then extenuating circumstances where we support students who have had situations that may have stopped them being able to submit their assessments on time.
Sorry. Can I just ask you to come a little bit closer to the mic? Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yes, I've been at the university for a number of years now.
Right. Go on, Sarah, tell them how many.
32 years.
32
So,
years.
very long time. Lots of experience in different areas of the university, but the best part of my role is organised graduation, and I see that as organising the biggest party of the year.
Absolutely, and so it is indeed. So coming over to you then, Sarah, let's talk a little bit about how we're going to enhance the graduate experience. So how do you make ceremonies feel personal? Because they're, 1,700 students. And how each student will feel special on their special day.
We've got a good team that work with us at graduation, and I think everyone's really welcoming. They know the importance of the event. It's, a key moment in that student's life. And their family and friends are there to celebrate with them. So we want them to be as relaxed as possible. Yeah. The team are welcoming. We've got the venue set out. There's flowers on the stage, fresh flowers, which make it look really lovely. We've got a big screen up there so everyone can be seen on the screen when it's their moment. We've got nice music there. We've got our students that play. We've got a student band that play and sing at the ceremonies.
Yes.
In amongst some of the more formal aspects of the ceremonies as well. And we just try to welcome everyone and make them feel part of the ceremony and adapt as we need to for that student experience.
And do you sort of receive feedback from graduates and their guests and parents who would come with them? What would be the things that they would say they enjoy most about graduation?
So I think they like the twist where we have that modern element along with the traditional element, incorporating our students into the event. Just the friendliness of the team there. And I think they like the format of our ceremonies.
Right. And of course, every year, is that sort of then taken into planning for next year?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
So coming back to you then, Kevin, but let's just give it a little bit context. And you spoke about your role as being backstage, behind the scenes, managing everything in terms of the student life cycle when they're studying there to the time that they graduate. So in terms of putting it into context for our listeners then, how does graduation align with university's broader mission and student retention strategy?
Absolutely. So the concept of a graduation ceremony is one of those things which is one of those subliminal moments in life, whether that's a birth, whether that's a wedding. It's one of those moments that people may look ahead to,
Yes.
or they will look back on with fondness. It's one of those landmark moments in life. And of course, the concept of a graduation ceremony
Yes.
isn't a new concept. It goes back over 1,000 years, and the graduation ceremony, which started in and around universities in Europe, such as Bologna, and you've got these wonderful academic gowns, these dresses. The roots for the ceremonies were very much church-based, and so that it looked like people will wear these big black gowns.
Yes.
To keep people warm, really, in those cold churches at the time. So the concept of a graduation ceremony
Yes.
goes back many, many centuries. And so as a university in the 21st century, it is very much holding on to that tradition, but actually having it as that, as Sarah's alluded to, that biggest party of the year that we put on. It's that opportunity for students to really celebrate that milestone of that stepping forward. Graduation comes from the Latin gradus, or to step.
Yes.
And that next step in life. So a student would have invested so much of their time and their money and their resources and their efforts, and their families as well would have been supporting them throughout this time. And so to have this moment of graduation,
Yes.
it's just to say to students, well done, you've done a fabulous job. And as a university, we pride ourselves on being that practice-led focus. So it's learning the academic, and yes, it's learning the knowledge, but actually it's being able to put that into practice and to be able to excel in whatever profession a student may want to go on to do. And so that graduation ceremony is really that milestone.
Yes.
Where a student goes from being that graduand.
Yes. I see. Thank you. So then coming to you, Sarah, if we can then just jump ahead and let's talk about next week. So which dates are graduation dates for Southampton Solent University?
So graduation will run from the 8th to the 10th of July. So we've got 2 ceremonies a day running from Wednesday through to Friday.
Right, wonderful. And how many students are you, or graduates, are you expecting on over the 3 days?
So we're expecting 1,700 students across the week.
And they bring their guests with them?
They bring their guests with them. So we'll be looking in total around 5,500 people.
So that's some party then.
It is, yes,
Party
indeed.
So then staying with you then, Sarah, for a minute. So you are doing 3 days of graduation. You're looking at 5,500 people attending this massive party. Then in terms of the planning, what does the time look like? It's not just going to happen overnight, is it?
No, so it's almost a continuous cycle, really. So as soon as we finish one set of graduations, we're always looking forward to the next set. So our venue, we have to book that years in advance to make sure we can secure the Guildhall, because they're obviously a very popular venue within the city.
Yes.
But then as soon as the academic year starts in September, we're looking forward to graduation. We're planning our honorary doctorates. The students are enrolled, so we're working out the ceremony schedule for the event. And then come the springtime, we're opening for the booking system for the students to book in, and that then is when things really ramp up. And once we get through to June, when we release exam results,
yes.
It's all systems go, and we've got about 2.5 weeks to turn graduation around from the time results publication to the actual event.
So it's very, very tight.
Very tight.
It's a bit like organising the wedding, and then with about 2 weeks to go, saying, right, who are we going to invite?
Yes.
It's a bit like that.
Oh, I see. But I hope everybody gets an invitation.
Absolutely. And hopefully you'll be there, Geeta.
I will be.
Fabulous.
Yes. Great. So in terms of, obviously you've mentioned, it starts as soon as the graduation ceremony is over, or the graduation period is over. You start planning for the year ahead. In terms of the biggest logistical hurdle that you may face, tell me about what that would be.
I guess it's just the volume of everything, really, and all the different strands that you have to pull together, because everything has to come together for that day. We can't go, oh, sorry, we're not ready for the event. Can you come back next week? So everything must happen. So there's various different elements to pull together. And whilst I oversee graduation, it is a wider university effort, and there's different teams that are involved. And
yes.
You've got our marketing teams who deal with a lot of the PR and comms. You've got our events team. There's facilities team. So filming. So it's coordinating all those events so everything comes together at the same time, ready for the ceremonies.
And it is a full university event, as you absolutely
Yes.
rightly say. It touches and pervades all areas
Absolutely.
of the university.
Absolutely. So then staying with you, Kevin, in terms of, you talked about, this is their academic medal, or this is the academic achievement. So students are coming to graduate and get their degree qualification. So how do you, in terms of registry, how do you balance that strict academic regulations with creating a celebratory kind of student experience for your graduates?
Oh, absolutely. So Solent celebrated its 20th birthday last year.
Yes.
I think we're more or less in line with this very radio station.
Indeed.
I think 21 years this year, I think. So,
Yes.
so I think in that time, we've graduated something like 50,000 students.
Wow.
And so there's 50,000 alumni floating around somewhere, whether that's metaphorically or physically. Of course, we've got the Warsash Maritime School,
Yes.
so some will be floating around somewhere. But you've got 50,000 alumni who have all gone through the Solent education experience, have come out and have graduated. And as a university that has what are known as taught degree awarding powers, so we have the ability to award degrees. Not every university, not every provider does, rather. As a
Right.
provider that does have that, it's about having the mechanisms in place and the structures in place to ensure that things work as they should do, so that students can have confidence in their awards, so that external regulators can have confidence in their award, and so can external stakeholders as well.
Okay, brilliant. And then just staying with you for a moment, then in terms of then that final verification process that you mentioned, it's a rigorous process. How do you ensure then every single graduate is legally cleared in terms of to cross that stage, get their award?
I saw that question. I saw you use the word legally. I thought, Geeta, legally.
Well, just in case, are they, because they, as you said, you wait until the results are out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So we have an example process, I
Yes.
suppose, which is that final ratification.
Yes.
And there are steps before that which exist within the academic schools. We have external verification, as well as I alluded to earlier, the Office for Students, the regulator for the higher education sector. They say that we are one of the providers in the UK that can award, or in England, that can award these degrees. And we have a variety of different aspects that we need to adhere to.
Yes.
And if we didn't adhere to them, then we would be in a bit of difficulty, and that concept of being able to award degrees may not be there anymore. However,
Yes.
So there are these significant checks and balances and processes and those eyes on to ensure that students are getting that high quality student experience from day one
Yes.
right through to graduation, then that connectivity at the end, but also the standard of the actual award that they are getting is comparable with what you would be expecting in the sector.
We've got a good team that work with us at graduation, and I think everyone's really welcoming. They know the importance of the event. It's a key moment in that student's life, and their family and friends are there to celebrate with them. So we want them to be as relaxed as possible. Yeah. The team are welcoming. We've got the venue set out. There's flowers on the stage, fresh flowers, which make it look really lovely. We've got a big screen up there, so everyone can be seen on the screen when it's their moment. We've got nice music there. We've got our students that play. We've got a student band that play and sing at the ceremonies.
Yes.
In amongst some of the more formal aspects of the ceremonies as well. And we just try to welcome everyone and make them feel part of the ceremony and adapt as we need to for that student experience.
And do you sort of receive feedback from graduates and their guests and parents who would come with them? What would be the things that they would say they enjoy most about graduation?
So I think they like the twist where we have that modern element along
Yes.
with the traditional element,
Yes.
incorporating our students into the event. Just the friendliness of the team there. And I think they like the format of our ceremonies.
Right. And of course, every year, is that sort of then taken into planning for next year?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Great.
We'd always seek feedback on board.
Of course. And you just sort of mentioned, sort of the traditional and the modern element and the fusion that you're bringing to graduation. So what new traditions have you introduced recently?
So we have our students singing at the graduation ceremony. So we want to showcase the work of our students because, that's what we're about as a
Do you sort of receive feedback from graduates and their guests and parents who would come with them? What would be the things that they would say they enjoy most about graduation?
So I think they like the twist where we have that modern element along with the traditional element, incorporating our students into the event. Just the friendliness of the team there. And I think they like the format of our ceremonies.
Right. And of course, every year, is that sort of then taken into planning for next year?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Great.
We'd always seek feedback on board.
Of course. And you just sort of mentioned, sort of the traditional and the modern element and the fusion that you're bringing to graduation. So what new traditions have you introduced recently?
So we have our students singing at the graduation ceremony. So we want to showcase the work of our students because, that's what we're about as a university, and we want them to have their moment as well. So we've got students that will be singing to the audience whilst they're taking their seats, and then they have an interlude in. We've got our students that film the ceremonies and manage the live streaming. And, just in terms of the event, we've got our booking system that's more, I say 21st century now, and students can book online, and that's quite a seamless process.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you. So coming back to you, Kevin, Sarah mentioned a little bit about, I asked her about what could be the biggest hurdle her team will face when they are sort of planning graduation. From a registry leadership perspective, can you tell me about what's the most complex logistical hurdle of graduation week for you, perhaps?
Yeah, I'll reflect on your point around that personal experience and Sarah's answer to that. I mean, I used the analogy of a wedding earlier.
Yes.
And at a wedding, you might have two people. It's their day, and they would choose a colour scheme, they would choose the music, they would choose, and it would be built around them. But of course, with a graduation, it is, as we said, 1,700 people's day.
Yes.
And that personal experience really is critical, and that personal touch that Sarah's alluded to really is a core part of that, alongside those sort of more modern tweaks that you may not have got back in the 11th or 12th century at the University of Bologna. I don't know, Sarah. Sarah, were you there?
Maybe in the past life.
I don't recall you mentioning that one, although you have been at Solent for a little while. But in terms of its positioning within the city,
yes,
I mean, it's great as a university that we are right in the heart of Southampton city centre. And I've been here for 5 or 6 years now, and I'm not local to the area, but I really do appreciate that Solent really is the university for the city.
Yes.
And the engagement with different parts of the community. Sitting here today is an example of that in this sort of radio studio, and so that the ability to just really showcase to our local stakeholders, this is who we are, this is what we are about. We will have thousands of students in those 3 or 4 days, and staff just processing to and from the Guildhall, all in their academic gowns
it's
and their
quite
hoods,
a sight.
and I don't think it's going to rain this week. Next week, so
I think we've got a mini heat wave.
I think
coming.
we have a mini heat wave coming, so that's something
Yes.
to look forward to. He says through gritted teeth. But that positioning of that ceremony,
Yes.
in a very visible way, to have a positive impact on the local community and on the wider city.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. So then just staying with you for a moment then, Kevin, what sort of high-level risk management protocols are in place to sort of handle certain disruptions? Have you ever had any?
Well, I mean, Sarah has no doubt got decades worth of stories, and I've got some stories as well. But of course, if you're inviting 5,000 or 6,000 people into a small area in a very sort of tight period of time, you've got to plan for the worst. Sadly, I was speaking to a colleague at another university just a few months ago, who shared the story of during the ceremony, somebody on the platform, so one of the academics on the platform, had a health scare and collapsed, and so you've got however many hundreds or thousands of people in the hall. What do you do? How do you manage that?
Of course.
How do you keep everybody calm and controlled? And crucially, look after the individual who is impacted and potentially those sort of loved ones who may or may not be around.
Yes.
So it's very much a case of planning for the worst. And Sarah and I are sort of like a double act, a bit like a pantomime donkey or a pantomime horse. You can choose which end you are, Sarah. But whereas I sort of tend to sort of lead over on the university side, Sarah will lead very much over the Guildhall side. During the ceremony, I tend to sit on the platform at the front. Sarah is running. I mean, Sarah's steps that she gets in during, one day we must run 30 or 40,000 steps quite easily. So it's a phenomenal amount of moving around that she does. But it's always eyes on each other, just keeping an eye on what's happening within the hall. Is everything okay on the stage? Of course, I can see out. I can see what's happening. We can plan for different matters. So a few years ago, we gave an honorary award to somebody, and there was just a slightly heightened security aspect of that.
Sure.
So it was nothing untoward. It was just slightly heightened.
Of course.
And so because of that, it was just different eyes and ears in terms of how could we evacuate quickly? How could we make sure that they were supported? How could we make sure that they could enjoy the day as they needed to enjoy the day? So it's thinking about what's coming up, reflecting on what might happen, and just being able to pivot if something does happen.
Of course. So everything is kind of tailored to what is required on the day and who you might have in terms of high-profile guests as well,
absolutely.
of course. So coming to you then, Sarah, and in terms of, obviously, a university is a very different place now. We get students from different walks of life. There's a huge diversity and people with different needs. So how do you handle accessibility for guests? Because, they've got to get on a stage, they've got to receive their award, they may not be physically mobile to do so. How do you kind of manage that?
So the Guildhall as a venue is very accessible. So people within wheelchairs or students within wheelchairs, they can easily get into the venue. And then within the ceremony, if it's a student that's a wheelchair user, we have them seated in the front of the auditorium, but we also rearrange the ceremony so all their classmates are with them.
Right.
So we just change the running order of the ceremony to accommodate. So they're not sat and left on their own. So they're there and they're with all their friends like other graduates would be.
Right.
And then to get onto the stage, there is a lift that gets the students onto the stage. So they will go across and accept their award. As a regular graduate would do as well.
Right.
So there's no difference in terms of the way the students are presented. And then where we've got students that maybe would require a sign or a guest, we would make the arrangements for those facilities to be in place.
Brilliant.
So we can accommodate all situations.
Indeed, yes. So that's very much tailoring again
Yes.
to the requirements for that graduate. Coming to you then, Kevin, name pronunciation. Of course, we have students from all over the world with all different sounding names.
Absolutely.
Pronunciation is key and it's their big moment. So name pronunciation is a huge point of anxiety can be for students, and it's really key that the university gets it right. So what system does the registry use to ensure that every name is read correctly?
Absolutely. And as someone who's read the names at graduation over many years and different ceremonies, I remember one year I had a list of names that were provided to me. One name was in size 12 font on the paper, 2.5 lines.
Right.
It was quite a name, but you're absolutely right. Names are so important to people.
Yes.
Identity is wrapped up in them, and there are different mechanisms that we can engage. So we try to, for example, to have a person calling out the names who at least is familiar with a number of the students. The names are written out phonetically on cards, so every student will be given a card with their name on. If there's any other piece of information that they need needs to be read out, there's the opportunity for students maybe to correct that phonetical spelling if they need to. They'll pass their name to the person who's reading the names out, and they've had some form of training in terms of that as well. So we can, as best we can, and I did a ceremony a couple of years ago, and I practiced the names, and I practiced the names, and I practiced the names at home, and my poor long suffering wife would be listening to these hundreds of names that I would practice, and I got to the ceremony, and they were going like clockwork. They were going really, really well, and then one of the final names, I fell over a Lucy and a Lauren.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, so are you calling any out this year?
Am I calling any out this year, Sarah?
No.
I've been removed from that.
Any particular? Well, let's not go into that. Let's not go into that. So, in terms of then students obviously get their names called out. Exactly how long will they have on the stage, Kevin? Is it literally a 30-second fleeting?
It's one of those things that you almost sort of get to the end and think, well, was that it?
Yes.
But isn't that the case with life anyway?
Okay,
That
yeah.
You sort of have this sort of thing that you build up to something.
Yes.
Whatever that might be.
Yes.
And it'd be, well, that's it. That's done.
It's gone in a blink.
That's done and gone.
Yes.
But it is that entire event that we've been talking about. And so there is that anticipation in the hall that Sarah's put together, or this fabulous video that they show at the beginning of the ceremony. I won't do any spoilers, just in case there are
Yes.
graduates listening. It just sort of explains what will happen during the service. And as that video comes on, that hush descends.
Yes.
And you got that pregnant anticipation,
Yes.
if you like, of what's going to happen. And then you have the procession in, and the orchestral music kicks in, and you have that moment where this is starting. This is this moment that's starting. There are speeches that take place from the front. You have that order, and you have that structure to the ceremony. I keep calling them services. That goes back to that church link, I suppose.
Yes.
But they have that structure to the ceremony. And then there is that moment where students are invited to stand up from their seats and just queue up.
Yes.
At the bottom of the steps, just before they have their moment to walk
Name,
up the steps, hand over their card for their name to be read correctly.
Yes.
And then to walk across the stage and have their hand shaken, have their hand shook, and pick up their degree certificate as they go down the steps the other side.
Yes.
To process back to their seat.
Yes.
And that is probably sort of a 4 or 5 minute manoeuvre.
Yes.
But those sort of 10, 15 seconds, it is them on the stage, their moment on the big screen behind, in front of 1,000 or so people in the Guildhall. That is their moment.
Absolutely.
And that is what they will be remembering.
Indeed. And those 10, 15, 20 seconds is actually quite a long time when you are on stage. Yeah. Definitely.
I think Sarah's thinking this hour is taking about 3 weeks. Aren't you?
Oh, dear. So coming back to you then, Sarah, you spoke about lots of different technologies that you're using. We're in the 21st century, 2026. You live stream the ceremony. People see themselves on the big screen. You have the graduation ceremonies filmed, etc. So in terms of that technology, now, do you get TikTok videos or people on Instagram? Or how does that work? What other sort of new and innovative technology are you using to enhance that experience for the graduates and their guests?
So we don't, but the students will do. So, there's lots of graduation footage that appears on TikTok, LinkedIn. They're doing the posts on there, Facebook. So that's very much student-led rather than from a ceremonies point of view. I know our marketing team will obviously be doing a lot of promotions as well of the students and their celebrations and putting up films on our website. So, but ours will be the filming of the ceremony, which goes out to obviously a global audience. So it's very important that runs seamlessly. Yeah,
seamlessly. Okay. So if you just joined us, it's coming up to 3:30, and you're listening to the Community Hour here with me, Geeta, and I have my guests, Kevin Rogers, Academic Registrar, and Sarah Bishop, Senior Associate Academic Registrar from Southampton Solent University, and we are talking about all things graduation. So, Mr. Rogers, now coming back to you. We're talking about, obviously, being in the 21st century. We're 2026. You spoke about students getting their award, and it's a paper certificate. So now, is the registry adopting a modern trend? Are you looking at digital certificates at all? Does that work?
I think if I go back to the point I made at the beginning around sort of the standards and the quality of the provision, the actual award certificate, that document in and of itself is really critical.
Yes.
There are examples. There are examples where fraudulent certificates may crop up, and so you're absolutely right. There is some movement or sort of quite a body of work around that digital certificate type concept. We're very keen that students get their actual proper certificate. I've still got mine from about 400 years ago, which is, I came across it in the garage when I was sorting the garage out a few weeks ago. But that's your document. It's embossed with the University logo and the kite mark and the branding.
Yes.
And that can't be taken away from you.
No. Absolutely. It's really, really key. And then, Sarah, in terms of you managing that many a very valuable piece of paper and making sure it's kept really nice and pristine for the students to sort of have that at the end of their ceremony. How does that work? How do you manage all of that?
So our certificates, once the results are out, we send all the data. We run the certificate reports and we send all the data to our external supplier. There's a very quick turnaround time for those to come back to the university, and all certificates were delivered yesterday.
Oh, fantastic!
So we now have them stored away safely in an office that no one else can get access to, ready for the team to start preparing those for individual ceremonies. And they are, looked after. We keep a close eye on those. People aren't allowed to be handling them with having their lunch or a cup of tea on the side, just in case they knock anything over, because we realise how important they are for students. And then on the day of the event, they are transported over by van to make sure they're in place and in good condition for all the students for when they leave that stage.
Excellent. So are they given in those sort of scrolls?
No. So they've got a presentation folder,
Right.
But no, to have lots of scrolls around the venue, I think would be a logistical nightmare,
Yeah.
and they would be all falling over the stage. So yeah, that would take up quite a lot of space to put them in there. But they are used for photography purposes and for our prize winners. So a prize winner, as they go across the stage, will be given a scroll case as well.
Oh, fantastic. So in terms of all of that, everything comes together. So obviously there's the ceremony part we've been talking about. Now let's go to the celebration. So do you feed the graduates? How do they celebrate? I know you have marquees set up in the Guildhall Square. So what happens? You've finished your graduation ceremony, you've got your certificate, you're out now. What are they going to do, Sarah?
So they will leave the Guildhall, and as they leave, all the academic party will be lining outside, clapping the students and celebrating their achievements. And they will move into our graduation marquee that will be set up in Guildhall Square, where they can go in and enjoy a celebratory glass of Prosecco, and there's some soft drinks in there, obviously, for people who do not wish to partake in alcohol.
Yes.
And we have a member of staff who's also a DJ, and he will be playing some tunes to get the party started for everyone over there.
Fantastic.
I think we annoy the council, though, because he does have the bass up rather loud. So
Is that deliberate?
so I'm sorry, Southampton City Council.
I see. Okay, well, have you ever been told off?
No, I think they must enjoy it. So
Well, you're bringing the party to them as
Exactly.
well.
I wouldn't dare tell Sarah off.
Absolutely. So now we're sort of just coming to the end of our wonderful discussion around all things graduation. So, Kevin, from your point of view, because you have an academic background and you taught law for a long while, yes? And in terms of what would you say would be the most rewarding day for obviously graduates? We can sort of talk about that. You would have had your own students go through that, but also day for you as the academic registrar. What is the most rewarding?
The rewarding part, I mean, there's a few parts. I'm glad that Sarah made reference to the academics or the stage parties or clapping the graduates as they come out. That really is wonderful. And you've got them there with their mobile phones, and they've got their flowers and families and everything else. That really is tremendous. But it is that feel immediately outside when you go out into the Guildhall Square. So once you finish clapping, everybody's come out of the Guildhall by that point.
Yes.
There's hundreds of people milling around. They're all celebrating with their friends. They're all celebrating with their family. They're having their photos. We've got the big Solent letters that will be over there
Yes.
as well. And it's that moment for me. It's a dual celebration. And it's a dual celebration because we got through another ceremony unscathed.
Yes.
I think is one, which is, I suppose, my selfish personal one. But then B, it is that moment where you look around and you see graduate after graduate saying, "Yeah, I've done it.
Yes.
I've done it." And for me, as someone who's worked in higher education in universities for over 20 years, I'm a passionate believer in the importance of higher education and
Yes.
the opportunities that it provides, the doors that it opens, and the life journeys it can take people on. We know without question that people that engage within university lead longer lives, healthier lives. They're more likely to engage in their community. They're less likely to need to engage in the NHS, and that's before you get on to the likelihood of them earning more in their career and their progressions, the professions that they go on to. So I'm a passionate believer in the importance of education and higher education, and that moment in graduation where you're in the Guildhall Square, and you've got hundreds of students about to embark on their what next, really is tremendous.
Wonderful, thank you. And Sarah, before I ask you to sort of comment on your most rewarding sort of moments of graduation, we didn't sort of cover the dress code. I know students get gowned up and they look beautiful, but is there a strict dress code they should have? Is it formal, or can students wear anything? How does that work?
So there is a formal dress code, and we
Right.
do ask students to be smart. We ask that they don't wear jeans, just because they've got these lovely photographs that will be their memory forever. So yes, we do ask them to follow a dress code, and it's lovely actually, because before the event we get queries from students about the colours of our academic dress, because they're all trying to coordinate
Yes.
their outfits and what they should be bringing, and gentlemen with their ties and how they can coordinate. So it's really nice to know that they're putting in the efforts as well. And then the guests as well, they come dressed up, and it's lovely to see all the different dresses, and particularly like from our international students, all the national dress as well.
Of course, wonderful. So then what is the most rewarding moment for you in your role as Senior Associate Academic Registrar?
The most rewarding moment is the last student crossing the stage. So once I've put that last student up on the stage, I've got that sense of relief and that sense of pride in that we've done it and we've delivered that event for the student, and it's gone ahead without a hitch. And we can look back and be proud of
Planning
that
the
moment.
next?
Start planning the next one, yes.
Wonderful. So, Kevin, what would be the number one piece of advice you have for the final year students preparing for their big day?
Oh, final piece. It's got to be enjoy it. But one of the, I will finish with a story. One of the memories I have from a ceremony many years ago, before I worked at Solent, I was calling out the names.
Yes.
And I read out the name of this young lady who I taught and I knew quite well. And she had these shoes on that had remarkably high heels.
Yes.
We're talking 6 to 8 inches.
Wow.
I've got a pair at home, Geeta.
Okay, I thought you might be wearing them today.
And she walked across the stage and she put out her hand just to shake hands with the person who was officiating, and went down onto the floor like a bag of potatoes.
Oh dear.
And we were in an enormous cathedral, so there would have been 1,800 people in the audience, so it's significantly larger than the Guildhall where we have our ceremonies. And she picked herself up, turned to the audience, did a bow, shook hands, and moved on. And she got the greatest applause. And so I think my advice is enjoy it, and that might happen. It's happened to me once.
You're right.
Having seen thousands and thousands of graduations, something quirky might happen.
Yes.
But it's part of the day.
Yes.
It's part of the story. It's part of what you will be telling your kids and grandkids and people in years to come. So just enjoy the day and revel in that moment in life.
Indeed. And Sarah?
Mine would be allow plenty of time and read the instructions that you are given. So it makes the day far less stressful. So if they know where to go to get their gowns and collect them, and then turn up with good time to spare before the ceremony, and make sure you're turning up for the right graduation, please.
Yes, of course.
We've had students turn up at the wrong ceremony and they've missed their own, which was in the morning. So we do try to accommodate students in that moment, so they do get their special day, and we will put them in with another group of students. But if you are maybe an architecture student and now you're graduating with fashion students, it'll certainly provide for an interesting ceremony.
Indeed. Well, it's all about diversity, diversifying your graduation. Wonderful. So thank you very much. So graduation dates for Southampton Solent University are next week, Wednesday the 8th of July. And Sarah, which school is graduating that day?
That will be the School of Creative Industries.
Okay, and Thursday, the 9th of July.
That will be the business school courses, and I can't recall off the top of my head. No, it is the health and sports students.
Health and sport. And Friday, the 10th of July.
That will be the maritime students and our technology students.
Wonderful. And also, I mean, we've been talking about graduation, but if you are somebody thinking about university, we want to apply. Solent's not a million miles away. We do have an open day coming up on Saturday the 15th of August. So to book, just go onto our website, www.solent.ac.uk/open-days. So thank you very much to Kevin, and thank you very much to Sarah for coming in this afternoon and really enlightening us and informing us about what goes on in a graduation ceremony. We talk a lot around in our community hours about higher education, about university opportunities, but this is the very first we've done on graduation. So thank you very much for your time, and hope our listeners found this discussion and information really insightful and useful. And if you're graduating next week, we wish you all the best, and thank you very much to Kevin and Sarah for coming in, and look forward to you getting up there and